Hi there, it's Jen, and I'm back with another process video. I'm using the March Scraptastic Rivers and Roads kit, plus some things from my stash. I'm going to use this photo of a book. It was the first chapter book I ever remember reading, maybe the first book I ever remember reading, and I was really inspired for this layout by the Scrap Gals podcast. I will link to it below. If you haven't heard of it, be sure to check it out. It is really fun. Tiffany and Tracy are hilarious, and it's just a fun scrapbooking podcast. So I'll link to that. But they talked about how children's books can inspire layouts, and I just got to thinking about some stories that I hadn't told in regards to my the way that books have affected my life. So I I typed up my journaling on my typewriter. You could easily use uh, just like a print it out on your computer if you wanted to. And I just printed or I typed it up on some older Heidi Swapp. I think from did she have a line called Serendipity? Maybe not. Dear Lizzie did. Anyway, it's from an older Heidi Swapp line, and then that start little strip that I thought it kind of looked like a book spine. Um, it's from Studio Calico, and it came in a Scraptastic kit a few months back, and I'm going to use that um, as well. And then the background paper is from Bo Bunny, and it's just stacked up books, and so I thought that was perfect for this. And then I cut my title out from Canson watercolor paper, so it's really thick and it's a little bit of an off-white color, and it says The Most Wonderful Story, and I just downloaded that cut file from the Silhouette online store. And then I'm going to try to use this other paper that I cut up, and I can't remember who that paper's by. I will use a little bit of this stripe from, it's a Scraptastic exclusive paper, and I'm going to use a little bit of that yellow stripe, and I'll end up putting it on the left. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch strip, just a really small. I love diagonal stripes because you can cut just a small piece and you still get that awesome feel. So I'm going to play around for a minute to figure out exactly where I want it, but I decide that it belongs on the outside edge, so that's where I'm going to put it. And I am using, I've pulled out a bunch of stuff from my stash. I really wanted this page to have, I went through my stuff and found anything that kind of related to story or reading or kind of schoolish kind of things, because it was important to me that the products reflected the story that I wanted to tell on this layout. That wood veneer book frame is from a previous Scraptastic kit. I believe it might be from last month or the month before. That light bulb that I keep playing around with is from a Maggie Holmes die cut package, which is from a previous Scraptastic kit. So I'm not using very much of this month's kit, the Rivers and Roads kit, besides the background paper and then that striped paper. But and also that white paper from Bo Bunny is from the kit, but I'm using a lot of different things from past kits as well. That little arrow chipboard piece is from Heidi Swapp, and it is included in the Rivers and Roads kit. It says This Is, so my title will end up being This Is the Most Wonderful Story. And I am just finding some flair. These are some older Dear Lizzie flair badges that I'm using. And one of them says, Let's go be adventurers, and one says, I can't remember, awesome. And then I'm thinking I'm going to use that circle chipboard piece that's from the same Heidi Swapp chipboard sticker sheet that came in the kit. I'm looking through some notes and things tags right now. I don't end up using any of them. I'm just kind of looking for bookish kind of things again. So I did put a strip of that yellow paper on the right hand side, but it doesn't end up staying. I remembered that I had gotten this, I won this Scraptastic contest, or maybe it was from 2Ps. Well, actually, it was from 2Ps before they went out of business, and they sent me a couple of large rubber stamps, and this one was an alphabet, and I thought I would try just spritzing it and seeing if I could get a kind of soft look that I might stamp behind the photo. but I don't end up liking the way that it looks. It's a little too bold, and I wanted something a little bit more subtle, so I decided not to use that. And then I am, so just kind of as a background, what my story is about is this is the first book I read, chapter book as a kid, The Enormous Egg, and I just kind of wrote out the whole story about I skipped kindergarten because I had a 7th grade reading level at the age of 5, and so I went into 1st grade and my we went to the school library to pick out books, and my teacher I went to the books with all the other kids to look at the Little Miss and the Mister books, like Little Miss Sunshine and books like that. And my teacher, my 1st grade teacher, steered me away, and she pushed me toward the chapter books, and she made me choose one of those, and I was so mad at her for that, because I just wanted to read the easy books like all the other kids. But she pushed me to choose a book from that rack, and I chose The Enormous Egg, and I loved the book. And ever since then, I have ever after that, I always picked a chapter book at the library. And so I just wanted to tell the story of that because I hadn't. It's not in my scrapbooks anywhere, but it's something that I've told before, and so I just wanted to make sure I got that down. So while I was rambling, I was mixing some modeling paste with just a tiny bit of spray mist from Mr. Huey's, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember the color, but it's kind of a light teal, or it's not a light teal color. I just used only a little bit to make it a really soft color. And then I used the Tim Holtz, I think it's called Tiny Dots or something, stencil, and that's going to be kind of my photo mat. And right now I'm going through some My Mind's Eye on trend die cuts that I got in a recent haul, and I just pulled a few out. I don't end up using any of them. They probably could have worked, but I just didn't use them. I thought that book clip would be good, but I I just didn't end up using it. So I'm looking now for something that can go up in that book plate, that little label at the top of my journaling, something that kind of can start it off. And so I'm just looking through all of my label stickers. I didn't feel like there was anything in the kit that really matched or that would go up there, so I'm just looking through a bunch of stickers that I have in my stash and going through a bunch of things to try to decide what I want to use. And it's going to take me a little while to figure it out, but I end up finally finding something, um, a little basic gray clear acetate uh, piece that says thanks so much, which I thought was fitting at the end of my journaling. I just kind of mentioned how I'm thankful to my 1st grade teacher for kind of pushing me to read that book because it really jump started my love affair with books. So here you can see I'm just starting to look through those pieces. I think that the video cuts out for a second here. I didn't realize it had stopped recording, so it'll pick back up in just a second. You don't miss much of anything. Um, I'm just starting to adhere that that piece of paper. I think it's from Kaisercraft, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. It is from Kaisercraft. And I put it on completely crooked, and I don't realize for a while how crooked it is, but I will later, and then I will try to remedy it. And I think in the end it looks just fine. So I'm just kind of playing around with how I want to place everything on the page. And I stuck my little clear acetate piece through my Xyron so that I could get adhesive on the back. And it works perfectly for things like that. It's a little sticker maker. It's awesome. And now I'm just going to think about sticking down my photo. Before I do that, that's when I realized that this is so crooked. I tried to pull it up, but I used score tape to stick it down, and so it's not coming up. It doesn't want to. So what I'm going to do is kind of make it look like it was on purpose. I'm going to add little strips on the top and the bottom of that piece just to kind of make it uh, look like it's kind of a few different papers that are like stuck there in a messy stack or something like that. And so I'll just add these little pieces at the top and bottom. And I think in the end it works out okay. I'm trying to use the grid on my mat in the back, like that my paper is sitting on, to kind of make sure that those pieces are straight at least. And I'm just using, this is awesome tool. I'm using Scotch Quick Dry adhesive in my fine line applicator, which is great because it has that really fine tip, and it's kind of a longer tip so you can get down into places, and that works great for just kind of sliding it underneath the paper and adhering a little bit of glue so that I don't have to pull that paper out. And I ran out of my foam tabs, so I just pulled down my extra stash there and got some more. And those are foam tabs that I got at the American Crafts Warehouse sale. I've never seen them in stores anywhere. I'm assuming they sell them somewhere, but I just found them at their warehouse sale. So now I'm just adhering that wood label over the top of that sticker and using my quick dry adhesive again. And then I'm going to mess this up. I'm going to try to stamp the date on that little circle because it has a place for the date. My date stamp is a little bit larger and I don't stamp it clearly, and when I try to re-stamp it, I get it off and it just looks horrible. Sometimes it doesn't matter to me, but this time it did, and so I'm going to look for something to replace that. At first I think I can just cover up the center of the circle. I just don't end up finding something that really balances well, and in the end I'll find a sticker that I'll replace that circle with. But I'm going to look through my Heidi Swap die cuts. I keep all my die cuts in those little photo, that pink thing is a little photo, uh, what is it called? Like a photo holder, photo storage that I got from Michaels, and I got them on sale when they were deeply discounted one day, and they're pretty inexpensive anyway, but I think I got them for less than $1 a piece. So I have a bunch of them, and they're all sorted by manufacturer. I pulled out that little A plus puffy sticker. That's from Close to My Heart, and I don't end up using it, but it would have worked on here maybe. I thought about pulling in a little bit more black that way, but it just ended up not being what I wanted. So now I'm going through my flare thinking that maybe one of these pieces will work, so I can just have a lineup of 3 flare badges. And I think that striped one with the heart, that's from Felicity Jane, uh, would have worked, but I end up just changing my mind. I'm a very indecisive person. That chipboard heart is from Heidi Swap. I don't end up using it. And here you'll see the sticker that I am going to end up using, and I'm just going to pop it up on a foam square, and it says hello, and I just wanted to bring in a bit of that yellow, and it had yellow on it, so I thought I would add that in the center. So I'm just going to line up the three flare. I'm going to play around with the placement a little bit, decide where exactly I want them before I commit. And I end up sticking them fairly close together near the bottom of the photo. And I left a little space in between, and that's fine. And now I'm just using my Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to adhere the title. Again, I'm loving that fine tip applicator. It's perfect for die cuts like these. I'm not gluing it down in all the places. I want it to lift up in some areas. And I'm just using a bit of score tape to tack down that photo because it didn't want to stick to the modeling paste that was behind it. So I have these Heidi Swap gold stars. They're chipboard pieces that came in the gold foil Project Life kit that she has at Michael's, and they're just little gold chipboard stars, and I'm going to sprinkle those around the layout. I think for some reason stars just um, I think go well with a book theme. Like I gave it 5 stars or something. I don't know. But it just seemed like it went. And then this little file tab that I'm going to use, it has the numbers 1 through 12, and I'm circling, that's really probably for the months, but I circled 1 because it was my first chapter book and I was in first grade, and So I circled the one. And that's a Scraptastic exclusive that came in last month's kit. Or the month before, actually. And then I'm going to play around with that Maggie Holmes light bulb, and I do end up nestling it in right there. And I really like the way that looks. I liked the idea of the light bulb because it has to do with ideas, and in it I talk about how I have a hard time using my imagination, but that books really, I think, were a way for me to stretch my imagination without having to. I'm not good at playing pretend or anything like that. I never have been, even when I was young. And books really take me to that other world without me having to make up the story. And so I think that's why I latched onto books so quickly, because I needed that escape in my brain, but I couldn't make it create it for myself. And so books really did that for me. And um, so I just liked the idea of having that light bulb, because it was kind of like a light bulb went off in my head. Um, so I really like for the various pieces on my layout to mean something, even if no one else understands that meaning. I do, and that's important to me. Um, and so I think that's pretty much going to complete the layout. I'll go ahead and I'm going to add some black splatters, and I'll just trim off the edges here. I'm going to add some black splatters, and I've just lately been using my um, Winsor & Newton calligraphy ink, and I just like the dark and circular splatters that I get from it. So that is going to complete my layout. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And I have reached 2,000 subscribers, so be sure to, my next video will probably be my 2,000 subscriber giveaway. I want to do something kind of big, and so be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out on that. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.